I'm going to show you how to cut some real quick and easy holes in Blender without completely ruining your topology. So what I'm modelling at the moment, there's my model, it's obviously unfinished. I'm modelling this mechanical part here for a rocket engine. And what I'm going to show you how to do right now is how to cut these screw holes. So you'd have, or not screws, yeah, screws. We're going to have these screw holes, and you'd have washers, and then the screws and the bolts that go through, or nuts rather. So, if we bring this back real quick, what I'm doing at the moment, or what I'm going to show you how to do, as we cut these holes, you've got to realise there are loads of them. So, we've got to make our life easier here, if we can, by having half decent topology that we can maintain throughout the rest of the model. So, the most important thing for this model specifically is, if you have a look at it, there's 24 holes that go around this section we're modelling here. So, the original circle that make up this section has 48 vertices, and the reason we're doing that is so that each circle, or sorry, each hole is divided by an edge here, and has an edge divided between the two holes as well, and that makes our topology, that makes our life way easier, right? So we're going to start by just doing this one up at the top here, and then we're going to repeat it around, and it's going to all line up, and it's going to be nice, it's going to be slick. So first things first, what we're going to do, we're going to delete these faces, and then we're going to select these two ones, and we're going to get snap vertices, snap cursor to selected. And what we're going to do then is we're going to create a new circle, give it 8 vertices. 6 works as well, but 8 is generally the best because you can have a line edge that goes all the way around here, and it keeps everything all nice and easy. So just rotate it around here. Line it up again. These are Blender models. These are for visualization. They're not CAD models, right? That's what the CAD's for. So it doesn't need to be perfect, but generally the better you can get. Just get as good as you can with this, right? So now we're going to have this. I'm going to click. I'm just going to get rid of the CAD so I can show you this easier. I'm going to click on this, shift click on the main model, and then click join. So these are now connected. These are now the same object basically. So what we're going to do then, we're going to have the bevel weight, because this bevel weight connects to our bevel modifier over here. So if I turn off subdivision, shade flat, what you can see here, the way the bevel modifier works in this case is we have 2 little edges that are created here, and then that tells the subdivision, essentially gives it extra faces to say, right, okay, we want to keep this edge sharp. So if I add the bevel and then add the subdivision, and I shade it smooth, it gives you these really, really nice beveled edges, and you don't have to add any bevel, it's completely non-destructive, you don't have to add any bevel here. But anyway, back to this. So we're going to connect these two. Actually no, we're not going to connect these two. The first thing we're going to do, extrude, scale up. Now this is really important, because if you don't do this and you just start connecting things, you're going to start getting pulls here. You're going to start getting loads and loads of different faces trying to connect into the one point, and it will screw up all of the edge modifiers and just topology in general. This is the main thing you need to keep in mind. So then we hook up these, and what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at this, and if you see this one lines up here, we're going to add another edge cut there. We're going to do it on this side as well, because this is a hole that's going to go straight through it. And then we just hook up these, and then, quite simply, you take all these, bang them together, hit F, there we go. So now, to very quickly get us to the other side, we're going to snap our cursor here, we're going to select the cursor, cursor to selected. We're then going to copy this, Shift D to duplicate, and then transform 3D cursor, S to scale, Y along the Y axis, 0. And now we're going to flip the normals, just so that we can have the faces facing this way. If you don't have these back facing, if these faces aren't invisible, they really should be, go into, where have you gone? I've completely lost it. Up here, yeah, up here in your viewport shading options, back face color, turn that on. That shows you which way your normals are facing, and it makes your life so much easier in the future. Anyway, get this out of the way, and then we just do the same thing. Hook it all up. What we're going to do now, we're going to get rid of the bevel weight of these. So if you just, so to do that, you right click, bevel weight, -1. So it sort of works the same way as edge creasing. It does almost the same thing, except it looks a lot nicer and doesn't give you weird jaggy topology. And then simply bang this all together, shade it smooth again, and there's the first hole. Great, fantastic. Right. So now, what you can do, you can take this, or sorry, just take this whole thing, get it, there we go, and then you can just scale it. So S shift Y, so that it's scaled not on the Y-axis, it's constrained there. So generally, when you're trying to line these up, it's quite good to sort of have it. If you go in here and turn on color to random, it shows you the difference between your CAD model and then your actual main model. So if you check and make sure it's sort of half and half is generally what we want. That's just the best for kind of keeping it as accurate as possible. And then you see how there's a lot more blue down here than there is up here. So if we move this up slightly, or sorry, down slightly, you can see it starts to line up. But again, this is like, it's only a big deal if you're down here, but like once you start to see them overlapping like that, that means you're generally in the right place. That means you've got everything quite nicely lined up. So, next part, getting this rotated round, very, very simple. There's a couple of ways you can do it, obviously, like everything in Blender, there's billions of ways to do it. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to take, over here, control, left click, control, left click, control, left click, just so we can get here. And on this side. Cool. So then we're going to hit Control plus and then delete vertices. Boom. Now we've only got this part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to Shift D and then we're going to rotate it. Sorry, we're going to set our pivot point to the 3D cursor. Make sure the 3D cursor is in the middle here, by the way, in the middle of the circle. Maybe set your origin, if you're not in the middle of the circle, maybe set your origin in the middle of the circle and then set the cursor to origin, that kind of thing. So it's really important to make sure this is in the middle, and that when you're doing this, you either rotate and hit Y to constrain it to this axis, or press 1, make sure your camera's facing this axis, and then it'll rotate around the camera axis. So, what you want to do now, because we've got 24 things to go here, we've got essentially 24 separate like holes here. We're going to put a bit there, and that doesn't look a bit right, but if you do 360 divided by 24, 15 degrees. Boom. So that's what we're going to rotate them by, right? And there's probably faster ways to do this, but that involves a bunch of extra stuff that who cares. So now we're going to do it by 30. And don't worry about the vertices, we're going to sort that later. So then remember, if you're hovering over things and you hold shift, that adds it to the selection, it'll keep in the original selection. So we've got this now. And now we're going to do Shift D, rotate 60. You can also press L when you're hovering over things. And then for this one, just do it like this. Again, there's absolutely faster ways to do this with spin modifier and that, but this one works, right? So who cares? And then 120, and then duplicate again, 120 again. And now, the most important step to get all these little bits to go away, we're going to select all, like absolutely everything. We are going to go merge vertices by distance. And then if you're working on small scales like this, I'd crank this up a bit, just do it there, and make sure the vertices have to be absolutely on top of each other to get removed. And boom, there we go. So you've now got some nice clean topology, no triangles, it's all quads. If you want, you can even have added some extra edge loops in here just to keep these away from this edge, because you see now I've got poles here which I didn't think about, but what we can do, just to sort that, make sure the pole isn't on a kind of actual sharp edge, what we're going to do is we're going to add another, I'm going to actually turn off this so you can see this, we're going to add another, we should have flip, edge loop in here, and then we are going to get this one, this one that we made, so we can select it, which is a bit of a nightmare, god damn it. So, okay, here's another thing that just came up kind of as I'm making this. See, when you're trying to select edge loops, if you get poles, there's another reason you want to avoid these poles where multiple points connect all at the same place and you get these sharp edges. When you try to select an edge loop, it doesn't think this is a loop, so it can't connect all the way. So what you kind of have to do now is select one and then go all the way around and select a few more and just kind of lead it around until you get to the other end, right? So that's one of the things you can avoid here. So now, if we scale this up Straight to the y-axis just to be sure. Or sorry, Shift Y. Scale this up, bring it to about there. Then what we're going to do, take this. There's another thing you can do instead of using 3D cursor. If you select all this, Shift, make sure you're on vertices select mode. Or I guess it doesn't work with the rest of them, but vertices is what I'm used to. Shift, left click on another point you want to have on the same axis as. Set it to active element, and then SY0. And it scales it so that it's along the y-axis, so that it is, this is the kind of 0 point. So it's the same as using the 3D cursor, but instead of finding moving the 3D cursor, and if you're using it for something else, you can just use a vertex. So now we're going to build it there. We're going to select this again. Probably should have done this earlier when I was selecting before. And by the way, it remains one. Cool. There we go. Right. And you can see from the front, that's pretty good. And if you look at our version and the CAD version, it's hard to tell. I'll apply a quick material just so you can look at this one. Yeah, there we go. This is one of the main reasons why we do all of this in Blender instead of just rendering it straight from the CAD software, because a lot of CAD packages offer that, but the problem is they usually take it to mesh first, and you get all these sharp edges, and then you get like all this screwy topology. Like what's going on here? Whereas if you put it in Blender, give it proper topology, you can apply all these modifiers, and you can give it all of this nice like edge wear and all of that. Like look at how I didn't even have to paint any of that. That's all just procedural as part of the material, which I'll go over in a future video. But yeah, you can see here that it's all perfectly smooth, and it looks just like the CAD, except just a lot smoother and a lot more realistic, especially